It started with a lonely heart, a letter in the mail, a promise of love. One woman reached out, and one man wrote back. From across the miles, they fell for each other, quickly, desperately, dangerously. But this wasn't a romance story. It was the beginning of something much darker. Together, they would pose as a married couple, find vulnerable women, and leave a trail of bodies across state lines. They killed not for money, not for rage, but for each other. This is the true story of Raymond Fernandez and Martha Beck, the killers who lured victims through the classifieds, bound by obsession, and left a bloody legacy in their wake. They were known as the Honeymoon Killers, and this is how love became lethal. Martha Beck was born in Florida, 1920. From an early age, life was cruel. She was overweight, frequently mocked, and allegedly sexually abused by a family member, trauma that would follow her for life. By her teens, Martha began crafting an alternate reality. She told elaborate lies about boyfriends and popularity that didn't exist. She became a nurse, but was fired repeatedly. Later, she gave birth to 2 children, one from a short marriage, another from an affair. By 27, Martha was alone, emotionally unstable, and desperately looking for love. So she wrote a letter to a man she'd never met, through a Lonely Hearts column, and he wrote back. Raymond Fernandez was born in Hawaii in 1914, but raised in Spain. He served in the British Merchant Navy, and later worked in the Netherlands East Indies. After World War II, he moved to the U.S. in search of work, but suffered a head injury when a steel hatch fell on his skull aboard a ship. Doctors later speculated this injury damaged the part of his brain linked to impulse control. Raymond also served time in prison for theft and fraud. While incarcerated, he became obsessed with black magic and voodoo, believing it gave him power over women. When he got out, he began a career as a con artist. He would charm women through Lonely Hearts ads, gain their trust, rob them, and vanish, until he met Martha, and then he stopped vanishing. Stopped. When Martha and Raymond met in person, she was instantly infatuated. They spent a weekend together, and Martha assumed they were in love. But Raymond disappeared afterward, as he always did. Martha refused to accept it. She tracked him down, abandoned her children, and moved in with him in New York. At first, Raymond was resistant, but eventually he allowed her into his life. And surprisingly, they worked well together, at least in crime. Martha posed as Raymond's sister during his cons. She gained the trust of women they targeted, acting like a chaperone. She would then help manipulate, drug, or even kill the women to protect Raymond's lies. Their love wasn't healthy, it was obsessive, violent, and together they became unstoppable. Their first known victim was Jane Thompson, a wealthy widow from Pennsylvania. She had traveled with Raymond to Spain and written him into her will. Shortly afterward, she was found dead in a hotel room. Authorities ruled it natural causes, but suspicions lingered. Then came Delphine Downing, a 28-year-old Michigan woman with a young daughter. Raymond wooed her while Martha stayed close. When Delphine got suspicious, Martha drugged her, then Raymond shot her. But their crime didn't end there. They kept Delphine's daughter, a toddler named Raynell, alive for 2 days. Then Martha drowned her in a bathtub. They buried the bodies in the basement. From 1947 to 1949, Martha and Raymond traveled across multiple states: Ohio, New York, Michigan, Illinois, leaving behind a trail of deception and death. They used fake names, rented apartments, charmed women through romantic letters, then turned on them. Each case followed a similar pattern. Raymond seduced the victim. Martha gained her trust. They drained her of money. And when things got complicated, they eliminated the problem. Most of their victims were lonely middle-aged women, often divorced or widowed, looking for love and companionship. Raymond and Martha saw them not as people, but as targets. Their downfall came when they returned to Delphine Downing's house, after the double murder. Neighbors had become suspicious. Police were alerted. When authorities entered the home, they found 2 shallow graves in the basement, both filled with lime. Raymond and Martha were arrested. Inside the car, they found love letters, jewelry from other victims, and a ledger of names. As police began cross-referencing their travels with missing persons cases, a horrific pattern emerged. They weren't just scammers. They were serial killers. During interrogation, Martha and Raymond began to confess. They spoke of multiple murders. They laughed about some of the victims. They blamed each other. The press dubbed them the Lonely Hearts Killers. Their story became tabloid gold. At trial, their defense claimed insanity. The jury disagreed. Both were convicted of first-degree murder for the Downing case, though they were suspected in up to 20 deaths. In 1951, Raymond Fernandez and Martha Beck were executed side by side in the electric chair at Sing Sing prison. They kissed before being separated. She went first, he followed. Experts have long studied couples who kill together. What makes love turn violent? What kind of psychological bond turns affection into mutual destruction? In the case of Raymond and Martha, their relationship was built on obsession. Martha abandoned everything to be with him. Delusion. They created an alternate reality where morality didn't exist. Reinforcement. Each enabled and justified the other's behavior. Dependency. Martha killed to keep Raymond's love. Raymond kept Martha because she helped him manipulate victims. They weren't just partners in crime, they were a closed loop, with no moral center and no outside influence. Together they were far more dangerous than either could have been alone. Raymond Fernandez and Martha Beck weren't driven by passion. They were driven by emptiness. They found each other in the ruins of their own lives. And instead of healing, they amplified the worst in each other. Martha, who craved love, clung to a man who used her as a tool. Raymond, who sought control, found someone willing to kill to keep him close. Their story wasn't a love story. It was a horror story, wrapped in lipstick, postmarked with affection, and ended with electricity. When we talk about love, we talk about trust, devotion, sacrifice. But what happens when love becomes a weapon, when one person's obsession becomes another's permission to destroy? Raymond and Martha remind us that danger doesn't always look like rage. Sometimes it looks like romance. They were bound by letters, fueled by loneliness, and united by blood, and in the end they died the same way they lived, together. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more true crime documentaries, where love, crime, and psychology collide. Stay curious, stay cautious, and never forget that sometimes love kills.